did it sound like freedom or a funeral? For me, our court appointment was 9 a.m. The only divorce proceedings I'd ever witnessed were on TV or in movies, so for some reason, I expected it to be just me, Thing One, and a judge in a courtroom. Instead, we appeared before a magistrate, and the room was packed full of people waiting their turn to resolve their issues. So everyone sitting there got to hear everything. The magistrate asked why we were divorcing. Thing One explained he was going to prison. The magistrate asked why Thing One was going to prison. Thing One explained he had been running a Ponzi scheme and committing a crime. The magistrate raised an eyebrow at the pittance of child support requested in the decree, and there again went all of our private details being shared with the public. Because we had kids, each of us had been required to complete a parenting class. I couldn't believe I'd been parenting for 16 years and I had to go to a court-appointed parenting class at my own expense that I couldn't afford and didn't have any money to pay for. Thing One didn't have any money either, and he wanted me to pay for him to take the class too, but I refused. I didn't pay for Thing One to take the class. I knew it would make him look bad, but I didn't care. He had done plenty to make me look bad. He had destroyed my reputation and more. And besides, he was going away for so many years anyway. I simply couldn't afford to waste money on that. The magistrate wasn't happy that Thing One hadn't complied with the court-mandated parenting class demand. So in the end, I was granted everything that I'd asked for in my divorce and $562 a month total in child support for 4 kids. Now, I'd planned to not ask for any child support, but the attorney I consulted said the state would never let Thing One get away with not paying a dime for 4 kids. So they assigned him the minimum amount at the time, which was $562 for 4 kids, which Thing One wasn't going to be able to pay anyway. And then they added $1 a month in alimony. So I kind of call it my divorce and $1 more. Following the finalization of our divorce, we drove home. I loaded my car, my 2 youngest kids, my 2 dogs, and our suitcases, and drove away without a backward glance. I refused to even look in the rearview mirror. I didn't want to see all of the things I dreamed of behind me, and I didn't want to see anyone cheering. So I headed to Utah knowing that I had 8 hours to think and 8 hours to cry. I tried not to think, I tried not to cry, and I was really unsuccessful at both. I kept asking myself, how did I get here? How did this happen? How is this my life? And I also still had some fears. I was worried because I had left my 2 oldest kids in the house with Thing One as I drove away to begin the new life. Number one, I left them because we still didn't have a place we could get into to live, so I was going to my brother's basement. And my brother now has 7 kids. He probably had 5 kids at the time in a small home. I just couldn't bring, 5 more people to that. Plus, my 2 older kids had jobs in Colorado, and we really needed the money, so I could not see taking them away from a source of revenue to go live in a basement where they wouldn't have a job. So they were there. I was worried, hoping that they would be safe even though I was gone. As I'm thinking, as I'm pondering, as I'm crying and trying not to do any of that. So in the next part of my series, I'm going to share the answers to those questions. How did I get here? How did this happen? How is this my life? I'm going to be talking about Thing One's backstory, my backstory, how we met, our marriage, his early career and success, and our life together in the lifestyle of a Ponzi schemer. I'm going to be going back over 20 years, so thank goodness for those journals that help me keep all of the details straight and to remember things I might have forgotten. I think it's going to shed some light on, if nothing else, why I missed some of the red flags I should have seen. I think it's going to demonstrate that it's very difficult to see what someone is intentionally hiding from you. And it will confirm that I'm guilty and was guilty of one thing: loving and trusting my husband.